Week in review, February 27th, 2023. A couple of things, I want to cover some legal victories. So I'm a big fan of our legal team led by Marshall and everything they've done over past decade or so. Marshall Brenner's been with our team for a very long time, and oftentimes we don't talk about or publicize the efforts that they do to protect the brand and protect affiliates. So they are constantly dealing with trademark infringement issues, sending out cease and desist, and it doesn't. Sometimes I hear that from the community that it doesn't seem like they're doing enough, but they are doing a lot and keeping the pressure on. If you guys have any issues, I say this whenever I talk about this topic, or have someone in your area that is an affiliate or former affiliate still using the name, iptheft@crossfit.com, email them and let them know so they can get it taken care of. So a couple pieces of small victories they had recently that Marshall let me know about. One, in Germany, there was a non-affiliate gym offering a cross fitness class and using CrossFit in their advertisement. So they did not comply with our initial cease and desist. They filed an injunction, and our team won. Winning in the international front is a little, oftentimes bigger wins, just because all the barriers of working overseas and dealing with those entities. Here in the U.S., it's a little more wired tight because most of our team is here, and we've been doing it for a number of years. So the international victories are always a little something special. Also, we do have a team out. We do have some staff out there working on that. Natasha is a lawyer who's overseas and handles a lot of our international issues. Also in Germany, someone was selling CrossFit products in multiple eBay listings. Initial cease and desist efforts were ignored. Filed a legal action with the court, and the court ruled in our favor. So another good win. UK, a non-affiliate gym, registered the company with a CrossFit name. We sent a cease and desist, but they refused to change the name or remove the CrossFit references from their social media. We successfully filed a social media takedown and also initiated proceedings to have the name deleted, and both of those were successful. So those affiliates and those individuals in our community who do engage with us and fly the flag properly and pay the annual fee and associate with us and want to be part of the community, protecting the brand and protecting the community against people using the name improperly, super important. And so that's why I wanted to highlight that, because we do stay on top of it, and it is something that we are not ignoring. Last week I went to Fort Bragg again, probably third or fourth time in the past 3 or 4 months. The evening I arrived, I flew into RDU, Raleigh, and I met up with a number of Raleigh affiliates. That was a good time. We just hung out for about an hour because I had to get over to Southern Pines for a dinner engagement. Oh, and on the way to Southern Pines, I got a speeding ticket, so that kind of sucked. But anyways, the Raleigh affiliates had a good time. We talked about what programming they do, kind of the normal things I like to hear or I like to ask of affiliates, and how long they've been around. There's COVID hammered that area. There's not a number of CrossFit affiliates closed in that area, so those that were there have kind of survived through that phase and are doing much better now. Then the next day I went to Fort Bragg, met with General Donahue, 3-star in charge of 18th Airborne Corps. We did a workout in the morning, team workout. He had about 20 soldiers from one of his command elements there, and we partnered up for the workout, and we did a team workout. First we deadlifted, did some trap bar deadlifts, because for the ACFT, the Army does a trap bar deadlift, 3 reps. I think the max is 345 to max out the max amount of points you can get. And then we did a little workout that I kind of programmed with Ben Allen. We looked at the equipment, we looked at what we had, and threw something together. They had pull-up bars on this side of the field, and they had pull-up bars on that side of the field. So then we just brought some kettlebells over. On this side, didn't use the pull-up bars, but we did some kettlebell swings, partner workout. Each partner I think we did 15 kettlebells. Then you run across the field to the other set of pull-up bars. I think it was 200 or 300 yards. Then you do 10 pull-up, well, 20 pull-ups as a team. So we did 10 each, and then come back 3 rounds of that. So a little Helen-like, kind of a sprintier effort, not too high on the volume, but a cool, fun workout. And I'm always impressed with General Donahue. He's so I'm 45. He's probably 52, 53, I think he is, and we won the workout. And so there's 20 soldiers, and all of them are much younger than him. And he throws down, and he's really fit, and it's the classic example of leading from the front. I mean, there's no better way to describe his leadership and what he represents in how he puts a premium on others' training, and specifically, and maybe most importantly, on his own fitness. So that was super cool. Then he got his soldiers together, those soldiers, and he did kind of like a Q&A with them, and it was really impressive. He's a great leader that demands a lot of his people and doesn't bullshit around. And his style is the style that resonates well, especially with me. So really cool seeing him in this element. I mean, I had served under him in 04, 05 when he was probably a major, and he was a troop commander for an element I was with. So that was about 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago. Now seeing him where he is now and all the success he's having, it's an honor and a pleasure working with him, having this opportunity to be re-engaged with him. That afternoon we had another meeting with him and some others from the base, from 3rd ID, and again I just got I was able to witness his command and presence and his leadership style, and once again just really impressed. Then from there, right from there actually, I went to Fayetteville and had met with Fayetteville affiliates. So Fort Bragg's here, RDU's over here, I think Fayetteville's right here, so other side of the base. And there was 6 or 7 Fayetteville affiliates showed up. Really cool group. One of them asked, what can we do for you? And I answered, what is a gym's role in all of this? I think the biggest, not I think, I want to say with conviction, the biggest thing and best thing a gym can do, a CrossFit affiliate can do for CrossFit, for call it HQ, and or more importantly, for the community, is just do a really good job inside those doors. When people come in to train, give them the best experience of their lives, and help them really transform through the methodology. So do coach, give the participants give the clients, give the athletes an amazing experience, put all your energy on them, and let them leave feeling like they are getting everything they want from their 1 hour experience they have with you, and then you are doing everything you need to do for CrossFit, or for wearing the name, or for flying the flag, and for being associated with the brand. So inside your doors, focus on that and be the best possible coach you can. And outside of that, what's that require? It requires a lot of commitment, dedication to the craft, dedication to yourself, evolving, helping, constantly studying and learning how to train people, how to connect with people, how to build a community. So if you guys focus there, we'll focus beyond your walls, trying to let the world and society know how safe and efficacious the program is. Then we're all working together and doing something special. We also talked about the Turn Again CrossFit issue, and someone was talking about the affiliates who don't fly the name anymore in communities, but still basically do CrossFit. And I actually use the Turn Again CrossFit example, that tragedy, as an example, for a small example for why being a part of this community is so powerful. Essentially, we were able to help drive a ton of awareness, CrossFit HQ, I was, the affiliates, the community, because we saw one of our own in need. And that small thing right there is a major part of being in this community. Knowing that CrossFit and other CrossFitters are going to have your back and advocate for you and spread your message is a powerful thing. We are a powerful community, and you see it time and time again. Anytime there's an issue with someone or an affiliate in the community, we're able to rally behind them. Tomorrow, so actually Monday, I'm filming this on Sunday. This will launch tomorrow on Monday. But on Monday, I am traveling to West Point, so I'll be in West Point for a couple days, trying to talk to them about some of the efforts we have going on, actually with Donahue and Third ID, and seeing if there's an opportunity to potentially help them out with some of either our one-day course or a two-day course. So I've never been to West Point. I'm really excited to see that campus and see, I've heard a lot about it, see this amazing place that puts out the leaders and soldiers that, the soldiers that lead our soldiers in all the major conflicts, essentially. All right, thanks a lot. That's it. Out.